Terry and Gerry Browning run 800 organic cattle on 2,000 acres near Yarrawonga, Victoria. Terry first looked into organics way back in 1990. At this time he was running sheep, cattle and heavy into cropping. Due in part to economic reasons, Terry decided to streamline his operation and just run cattle.
We were pretty much in debt, and at the time I think we thought that debt was the thing that you had to do because you needed a tax deduction of the interest rates. And we sat down and had a good think about that. And we thought, well, if we can cut our running costs back. And so I think I sat down in 1990 and thought, well, what are the things we possibly could not do on the farm? So we worked out a lot of not doings, like fertiliser and pasture and cropping. And so we haven't really touched our land for virtually 10 years. And about 94 I got involved in a grazing for profit course, which was like the next step. We were able to realise that by running our animals in large mobs we could do more advantageous things to the soil. And so with our sort of cell grazing system now, most of the time we would have only the animals on about 5% of the land. And we can also measure exactly how much grass we've got, and we can plan through our dry season so that we can get through to our critical date, which is the 1st of May, when our autumn irrigated pastures can then provide the cattle to go through the winter. So, and we used to make large amounts of hay all spring and spend all winter feeding it out, and we've been able to do without hay totally and still run the same number of stock in years that have been tougher. The last half of the 90s have been much tougher years than the first half of the 90s. So while that's not very scientific, it's actually worked very well for us. We're different in as much as we really just decided all the things we thought we could get away with not doing. And we didn't know how we were going to go when we stopped drenching, but very soon it became apparent that we only had to drench, in the early stages, a very odd animal, say 2 or 3 animals a year. Might have been half a dozen, and in the last few years we haven't had to do any. And I think you also understand that nutrition is an important factor, so you do think a little bit more about not letting your stock get down in the autumn, because it's very easy to let stock get down in the autumn, because that's what everybody does. And then they put them under stress, and then their worms develop. So, and trying to work with the seasons more. Like lice is always a bit of a problem, so we never try and fatten and sell cattle in the winter. We just work with the seasons, and we sell our cattle when it suits them, which is late spring and early summer. And we've looked at using homeopathic remedies. I can not be sure, I'm not really sure whether they work or not, but we haven't done anything else much other than feed minerals. We feed a mineral lick, which is basically dolomite, or sometimes we use lime, and we're short of sulphur and seaweed meal and a few other things that are probably more specific to your own particular land.